We are live. Good evening, everyone. It's Friday. I'm Duane Whitmer. Pardon me, it's Wednesday. I'm off to a terrible start. It's Wednesday. I'm Duane Whitmer, and it's time for a weekly Whitmer Wednesday with me, Duane Whitmer, on Wednesday. Still in the office in Hamburg doing these. Hopefully soon. We look forward to moving to Derby. Nicer place, nicer lighting. I won't have the little issue with my wall. Everything else will be great. We'll have a great time. We're going to jump right in this week. This week's going to be an interesting topic. As most of you guys know, I live in a place called the State of Defiance, which means that I don't believe in any government entity has the ability to dictate my life because I think they're all criminals. Essentially believe that the government is a Ponzi scheme, takes your tax dollars, allocates it to their friends and cronies while providing you shit services. This week, we're going to talk about direct action, why it's important, and different methods of direct action are out there. There's donating to charity, there's learning to train, there's training the Second Amendment. There's all these examples we're going to start hammering, but the first one we're going to start with is direct action in the First Amendment, which would be First Amendment auditing. It's a interesting topic. I'm going to start the timer. I like to keep these around 15 minutes. We're going to start now. This week, we're going to talk about direct action, the First Amendment auditing. What is First Amendment auditing? Why is it important? And what happens? So we're going to start by talking about the First Amendment. And most people don't understand that there are actually 5 pillars of the First Amendment. And I'm going to post that right here in the comments. And then I'm going to show it. And it's going to be really big, so I apologize. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of people to assembly, of the right of people to peacefully assemble, and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And the last pillar is the most important that no one talks about. Everyone knows about freedom of speech, freedom of press, freedom of religion. You can say what you want. You can do what you want in a news station, and you can worship what you want. But no one really talks about the last two. Some people talk about assembly. They hold rallies and, we're assembling. And then the last one that really no one talks about is petition the government for a redress of grievances. That's kind of what First Amendment auditors do very, very well. Essentially what a First Amendment audit is you see them online. They'll go into a public place, usually government owned, and they start recording. And they just stand there. They might interact with people. They record what's going on. They take video, and they either ask the person behind the counter to go through the process, or they just film. They just walk around and film. One of my favorite First Amendment auditors, mainly because I consider him a friend, but he's also a really good guy, is Auditing Erie County, who lives in the county I live in. This is his information. He's got a YouTube page. He's got something like 80,000 subscribers. He's been doing this for a few years. He's a good example of one because some people have gone out there and they're trying to cause conflict. They're trying to create problems, and that's not really what you should be doing. What you should be doing is just recording and finding transparency, finding issues, finding flaws. But really what most of these auditors do is they just record interactions with public officials. And you'd be surprised the amount of uncomfort and problems these people have with just someone recording. And it's kind of funny. We have this government that spends hundreds of millions of dollars surveilling everything you do, spying on everything you do. And we're told if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. Yet watching these people utterly melt down over someone holding a camera, it's kind of ironic and comical to me that these same people that tell you, you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear, are the first ones freaking out. Well, if they have nothing to hide, they have nothing to fear. Granted, they have a lot to hide, which is corruption, nepotism, misappropriation of funds, all around tomfoolery by government employees and government officials. And a lot of these First Amendment auditors do a good job of showing that a lot of these public officials hate the public. A lot of these people in the government jobs program, they're not there because they're good at dealing with customers. They're not good at selling a product. They're not good at engaging with the public or being good customer service people. They're there because they're either related to someone, they help someone win an office, they help someone's campaign, or they've been there for 30 years and it's a good paycheck. It's a good paycheck that's not going anywhere. And when the shutdown happens, they still get paid. When the recession happens, they still get paid. Their business can't go out of business. It's not like owning a business in the real world or the private sector where if you don't offer a good product for a good cost, the market will crush you. They essentially have government force to guarantee that they have job security. And a lot of these people don't like dealing with the public. They don't want to deal with the public. They don't care about dealing with the public. They're essentially there for a paycheck. And so, First Amendment auditing is a great example of direct action because you don't rely on a politician. It's not a politically motivated event or activity. It's not in favor of one political party or another. It has nothing to do with politics or politicians, to be honest with you. It's the people's media essentially doing their thing. When we talk Second Amendment, we say you are your own first responder. When we talk about anything, you are your own first responder, which is why you should train with the Second Amendment, why you should have a med kit and know how to do basic CPR and life-saving measures. But really, when it comes to the First Amendment, you are also your own press. A lot of people don't realize that we are, with camera phones like they are nowadays, everyone's got a camera phone, an iPhone, something like that. Recording interactions with police and government officials is crucial. Because the Supreme Court has ruled that the police can actually lie to you. And that's a pretty terrifying thing, that the police actually have no obligation to be honest or truthful with you. And humans naturally are, they might forget. A lot of humans don't like always telling the truth. So recording every interaction you can with public officials and the police is always a good thing. But really, this boils down to protecting yourself from criminal activity and finding transparency and finding a great way of finding whether or not your local public officials give a shit about you or not. I've been watching a ton of these videos. Like I said, I'll show Dan's YouTube channel again. You'd be surprised how many of these interactions are just, he walks in with a camera and people get shitty. And it's sad to see. There is no, let's apply this application to the real world. If you worked in a restaurant and someone walked in and you treated them like they treat some of these people, you would get fired. Your restaurant would go under. People wouldn't go there. They would hammer your service. If, I own an accounting firm. If I treated my clients like this, they wouldn't become repeat clients. They would go somewhere else. They'd find another accountant. They'd find somewhere else. Yet because you have the support of government violence behind everything that the government does, these people have no recourse. And that's where, again, the fifth pillar of the First Amendment, which is freedom of petition and redress, comes in. A lot of these First Amendment auditors, with their following, the government gets redressed by their followers. They air their grievances. They call and say, hey, you are very shitty at dealing with people. You should do a better job. That is First Amendment protected speech, and that is freedom of redress. You are essentially airing your grievances to a broken system run by criminals. And you should be allowed to do that. There's a lot of different ways the First Amendment works. Speech, you can yell whatever you want, almost whatever you want. Religion, worship what you want. Press, write whatever you want in the media. But these other ones are super important. Assembly, you can hold rallies, as you see. Now, most times those rallies are nothing. We've talked about this. A lot of these rallies are nothing more than pat on the back fests that don't really accomplish anything. But the fifth one, and I think this is super important, is redress. You are your own media station. You are your own first responder. And I'll take this a step further. A lot of First Amendment auditors don't realize they're First Amendment auditors. Look at a lot of these shootings or these crimes or even the police shootings that are being recorded by individuals. That's a form of First Amendment auditing, and they don't realize it. And if you look at the George Floyd situation, you look at the LA situation, you look at a lot of these situations, First Amendment auditors broke the story. The media wasn't there reporting on it. It was someone with a camera essentially being their own media station and recording the news as it happened and putting it out there. This is a growing market. This is a growing thing happening where, again, like I said earlier, everyone has a smartphone. Everyone has an iPhone. Just recording things is media now. And I would argue that, smaller local media stations are more trustworthy than the bigger stations. And the bigger you get, the less you can have faith and trust them because they're all biased and appealing to their advertisers and appealing to their money, their money men. But an unbiased, free, cheap, easy way of media is becoming your own media, becoming your own auditor and doing things like that. And that's that is a form of direct action. Like I said, you don't rely on government, you don't rely on politicians, you don't rely on holding a rally, you don't rely on organizations that are, in bed with politicians, you don't rely on caucuses or government jobs. It's on you to do it. It's on you to record interactions you have with government employees and police, and that's a form of First Amendment auditing. That is the media. You have First Amendment right to do so. And I think more people should exercise this. I think that's a way of keeping the government at check. It's a great way of checks and balances with a broken governmental system run by criminals. Is recording all interactions you have with any government employee or agent in any shape or form. It's simple as that. I mean, maybe I'll do one next week on how to interact with all government agents and police and everyone, because people have to realize is that a lot of these government agents are doing investigative work for other agencies and other systems, and even a small innocuous conversation you have with someone could be used against you in the future, because that's how it works. And you know how people are you've all played the game of telephone as a child. Someone says something and they tell someone else something else, and they say something else to someone else, and it gets mixed up and jumbled, and the message gets broken. But if you have a recording of your interaction, that's what happened. It's there for you. It's there in I don't want to say in writing, but it's there in the flesh. It's there. You have that evidence. It's not he said, she said. And unfortunately in this country, one issue we have is that people tend to assume that if you have a badge or a laminated name badge from the government, you're always correct. People tend to believe that government officials are always right, or government officials have some hidden knowledge that the average American doesn't have, which isn't necessarily true. But the burden of proof is sometimes on the individual, and keeping a record of it at all times is very beneficial to you as a person. Like I said, maybe I spoke about this at PorkFest, is how to interact with the police and understand that even a simple conversation may not necessarily be a simple conversation with government agencies. Keep that in mind. And like I said, record things, don't answer questions. Look, and I'm not saying go commit crimes and don't answer questions. I'm saying don't commit crimes. But at the same time, don't be hesitant to record your interactions with government employees in the police. I mean, that is like I said, it's First Amendment auditing, and it's essentially you becoming your own First Amendment. You are becoming your own media. You are your own first responder, and you are the press. And it's a great check and balance against a broken system. And I wish more people would do it. So we're going to call this a night. It's a beautiful night out. I hope you guys go enjoy your weekend, enjoy your week, enjoy this weather. If you're in Western New York, it's beautiful out. Thank you guys for tuning in. If you're interested, like I said, I'll share, Dan Wormus is auditing Erie County once more. He's in First Amendment auditor in Erie County where I live. Great guy, great page. He does a really good job. He records everything. One thing I don't like about some of these auditors is they try to, it's cut weird or it's cut funny. Dan doesn't do that. It's everything. He records as soon as he steps on the government property and stops recording as soon as he steps off. There's no edits. There's no cuts. You're seeing every interaction, every piece of the interaction. You're seeing everything. Some auditors try to start things or, get engagement for clicks, and Dan doesn't do that. And that's a great thing. It's great to see. Check out his page if you're interested. Learn more. If you're interested, if you're in the New York area and you're interested, he's speaking at the Libertarian Party of New York's event in Syracuse, November 11th, I believe. He's talking about his First Amendment auditing and how to do it. Here in Western New York, we're probably going to start doing trainings on why you should record your interactions. We're going to do some trainings once the building in Derby is up and going. The State of Defiance headquarters, we're going to do trainings on, why you should do the recording and why you should do it, how to do it properly, how to not be an idiot about it. And yeah, we'd love to have some of you guys there, show up and learn what you're doing, what we're doing, and how to do it. So thank you guys for tuning in this week. Have a great day. Maybe next week we'll talk about interactions with government agents and why even having a small conversation with one can always turn out negative. I've seen that a million times dealing with the IRS. I'll tell you that. Not a million times. I'm being exaggeration, but I've seen it a lot dealing with the IRS. So thank you guys for tuning in. That's this week's Weekly Whitmer Wednesday. As always, remember the government is a criminal enterprise run by psychopaths that launder your tax dollars from the taxpayer to the political class through government. And you should have no faith in any of them to ever do anything right for you. It's on us to take care of ourselves. Mostly we should do that through direct action and defiance and non-compliance, non-enforcement, which leads to nullification and repeal. Thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great week. Enjoy this weather. Take care, everyone.